you can use automation in much the same way that you do with audio files when you're working with MIDI. Just as an example, I'm going to take the same little project that I'm working on, and I'm going to add a bit of a fade in right at the beginning. So I'm going to select 2 bars over here. I'm going to make a selection. This is pretty important. So make sure you're doing the same thing. So I've created a time selection of 2 bars, and then I'm going to go to Insert, Empty Space of Time Selection. And what this does is it basically pushes everything over and it creates empty space, which is exactly what I want for this. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here, right there. And so now all I have is basically 2 additional bars of this drum pattern, and it basically just, the volume stays the same. It's all, and nothing else has changed. I just have a little, like an introduction. But say that I want the drums to kind of fade in over here. It's better to do it, and this is important, because if I double click over here and I go to my drum pattern in my MIDI item and I go to velocity, I could change the volume over time, but this would really affect the individual notes within the pattern, and that basically would mean that every time the pattern loops, it would do a crescendo every time. So let's say that I set up a crescendo, and because I'm looping this pattern, it'll continue to do the same thing. Now, of course, I could make copies of it and make it a little louder each time, but it would be very difficult to do accurately, and so it's not very useful to do it that way. But instead, what we should do is just go to click on Trim, open our envelopes, and just do Volume. Okay, we're already familiar with this, and we already know that we can use Shift to enter. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. To enter points over here. So I'm going to, let's say I'm going to do a crescendo that starts here. I'm going to drag this down. I'm not going to start from 0 volume. I'm going to start from like a low volume and let it crescendo, right? And I can even emphasize it a little bit more. I can maybe reduce the volume of the keys a little bit more, and so I can start maybe a little lower. And so here it goes again. Okay, so anyway, it works exactly the same way. No difference at all, okay?